Hi everyone, welcome back to the Morgan Homestead. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Sandy. And we've been asked a question a few times lately as to why we chose Idaho Pasture Pigs. So today we thought we would go over all of the reasons that we chose it. And of course Kevin did a ton of research before we got into this. But now we've had them for over a year, so we're going to tell you the reasons why we think you should choose IPPs as either a breeder or for feeders, or even just for meat to stock your freezer to feed your family. So stay tuned. Okay, before we get into the specific reasons, I'd like to first start out just kind of giving you a background of where the whole Idaho Pasture Pig breed came from. So this was developed by Gary and Shelley Ferris from Idaho. They wanted a really good homesteading pig. They wanted one that would graze on their pastures, not be too big, not be too small. They wanted all those qualities for a good, and also have really good meat, obviously. So what they did is they took 3 different pigs and they bred them together to develop this breed. They took a Kune for the size and pasture grazing abilities. Kunis are smaller pigs. Then they took a Duroc because they have really good mothering qualities and abilities. And then they combined that with an old Berkshire for meat quality. So once they created the qualities they wanted in these breeds, it was a 12-year span of breeding them to be considered a purebred standalone breed. So now we have purebred Idaho Pasture Pigs. And there was a lot that went into creating that specific breed. So there's a lot to maintaining it.
Yeah, so it is important as breeders to keep the breed pure by only breeding those with IPP qualities that meet the standards. If you're not willing to do this, you probably shouldn't breed these pigs. It is a newer pig, and we really need to try to keep this pig as pure as it can be, so that we're not undoing all the work that Gary and Shelley did putting into this pig to be a true pasture grazing pig.
Right. And I mean, there's specific breed qualities, and we'll kind of get into that as we talk about these pigs, but they have to meet those qualities in order for it to stay the breed standard, and all of that we'll explain at the end where you can find that information. So yeah, we'll get to that.
The thing is too with this breed, not every pig is a breed quality pig. You may get 1 or 2 possibly from a litter, yep. But unlike other pig breeds, you don't get, not every pig can be a breeder. Right.
You start when they're just born, the first couple days, you can't even tell. I mean, you have to wait a couple weeks at least.
It takes a while to really see the true features of the pig and whether it's going to be a breed quality pig.
Right. So, and we can talk about that too a little bit later.
Oh, he's such a sweet guy. He's too little.
Okay, number 5, the last reason, the first one I'm going to talk about, is that these pigs are so darn cute. I mean, they have perky little ears that stick straight up. Their short snouts are adorable. They have long eyelashes. They have really great body composition. They're just all around really cute, fun to look at pigs.
Number 4, they're easy on the pasture. So one reason that we got these pigs is because we didn't want the pasture getting tore up from traditional pigs. These pigs have shorter upturned noses, so it really keeps them from getting deep in the soil and rooting up the pasture. They will nose the pasture a little bit. They'll turn over the soil sometimes if there's something really good down there that they want to get to. But for the most part, they graze.
So here's an example of a pasture. There was 2 pigs on this pasture here for 2 weeks, and they've only been off it for about a week. Very little damage. It's recovering nice. If we would get some rain here in Minnesota, we're super dry. There was cedar was on this pasture here for about a month, and you can see very little damage. If we had rain, we'd have more grass coming back, but I mean, it just comes back very quickly. They don't damage the paddocks at all anymore. Initially, there was more rooting when we first got our first 2 feeder pigs, but now very minimal. Here's another one that the piglets were on, and there's a lot of green grass growing over there. So yeah, it's just good to know.
So the pigs actually absolutely love eating the clover and the grasses. It's really kind of funny when I'm ready to move these pigs to a different paddock. I rotationally graze them to keep them on green grass for them to eat. I could actually give them grain and then open up the paddock to a new area, and they will go to the new grasses and clovers instead of eating their grain. So they absolutely love eating the pastures. Another thing about the Idaho Pasture Pig is they do well in all climates. This is number 3 on our list. They can handle the extreme weathers, hot to cold. They do well from Minnesota to Texas, East Coast to West Coast. They do very well in the cold and hot temperatures. One thing they need is a wallow in the heat to try to keep them cooler. All pigs like cooler weather more than they do hot weather, but they do well in the hotter weather as long as the conditions are right in their paddocks for them. The A-frames that we use keep them warm in the winter time. I end up putting a back on the one end to try to keep it a little bit warmer. But this is all they need in the winter time. They do very well in these. And then in summertime, I take the backs off to kind of let the breeze and stuff flow through them. But that was number 3 on our list. They do well in all climates.
Okay, so number 2 on our list is they have a very mild temperament. I mean, these guys are so sweet, easygoing, personable. They're playful. They're easily trainable. Easy to move from one paddock to another. Kevin can easily trim hooves. They let them touch their feet, no problem. They love scratches, as you can see. They're extremely mellow. They always come to see you when you come out. And they're smaller than most pasture pigs. And they're great mothers. They farrow very easily. These 2, we have both farrowed. Pebbles on the left here. She had her first litter with us this spring. And this pig is so muddy, I'm having a hard time. This is Pepper.
Yes.
This is Pepper. She also had her first litter with us, and they were both just great mamas. Cedar in the hut back there, she was supposed to be pregnant. I don't think she is. So we're probably going to put her in with one of our boars here soon. But yeah. They're just, they're big puppy dogs is what they are. Very easy going and fun to be around. So Pepper doesn't like it when Pebbles is getting all the attention. So she'll come over and try to get in on that too. But anyway, they're very fun pigs.
I just wanted to show how easy it is to move these pigs with my current setup. So I use these spring gates that goes across each of the paddocks. And each of the spring gates I have a handle on each side so I can move them around. So this one I have across the alleyway here. I have an alley that goes down to each paddock, and then again these spring gates that closes off each paddock. So what I do is I put one across the alley on one end, and then one across the alley at the paddock that I'm moving the pigs to. So the only place that they can go then is to the paddock I want them to go. So you can see the very end of this alley, I have a spring gate across there. So I'm going to move them into the paddock at the very end on the right hand side. Alright ladies, you gals are going to move. We're going to move you guys to a new paddock. So basically I just take a thing of feed and they follow along pretty good. So I'm going to open this paddock up. It's kind of hard to do with filming here, but I'll try to do it as best as I can. So I'm going to open this paddock up. And hopefully these ladies will move with me. Come on, gals. Come on, piggies, big pigs. Come on. Let's move down this way. Come on. Hey, Pebs. Pebs is following directions. She understands the mission. The other two are coming. Hey, Pep. Gonna go down to your new spot. Yeah. Cedar's doing it too. This is going as planned. So we want them to go in on the right hand side there. Come on, Pep. Pep, here, look at Pepper. Yeah, come on. Come on. So two of them followed directions. Pepper's stopping to hang out with the boys for a minute. She'll come. Here she comes. Come on, Pepper. Come on. There. Now they're all three in their new area. Let's give them some feed. And I'll close this paddock off. And they are moved. Now I just got to move their water in their hut, and that can be in here for another week. Pretty easy. I really like the layout. It works really nice. Okay, so for our number one reason for raising Idaho Pasture Pigs is they have the best tasting meat.
Absolutely.
They have really red marbled meat that is juicy and tender and is much like eating a ribeye steak.
Actually, I prefer to have a pork steak over a beef ribeye steak. It's much better. An IPP one anyway.
Yeah, and they don't take any longer really to grow out than a standard commercial pig. Now they take a little bit longer, anywhere from 8 to 10 months to grow out, but they don't use any more feed than if you were to feed out a commercial sized pig.
Right.
Because they eat more pasture. They are a true grazing pig.
Right, and we don't give our pigs kitchen scrap or whatever, slop from the kitchen. I will feed them fresh vegetables. I'll give them watermelon occasionally, so fresh fruit and vegetables.
Yeah, scraps, scrap vegetables and stuff, the peelings or anything that you cut out of that you don't eat.
Right, but we don't give them, other slop. They mainly eat pasture, their grain, and fruit and veggies. So
yeah, and we don't ever give them any kind of meat.
No. So we're very picky, and their grain that we give them, it's a high quality, good protein grain with lots of
so we have there's a specific recipe that we got from the Idaho Pasture Pig registry, which is a group on Facebook, and within that there's a specific amount of corn, soy, distiller grains, and then your minerals. The pigs need a little bit of the minerals, just like you and I do, in order to just stay healthy and to keep our immune systems up.
Right. And then, also, they not only produce fantastic meat, they produce beautiful lard that I render it down and I use it for baking and cooking in. And actually, their lard is so much healthier for you. It's right up there with olive oil. And I wrote down some. It's the best vitamin D source on the planet. It's high in omega-3 and it's lower in omega-6 fats. There's no trans fat in the lard from these pigs. Supports heart health. It has the most monounsaturated fats after olive oil, 60%, and that helps to lower cholesterol levels, aids in cancer prevention, decreased risk of depression. The lard has a high smoke point, 375 degrees. No worry of burnt oxidized food. It contains choline, an important nutrient. Only 10% of the population get enough of that in their diet. It lowers the risk of heart disease and Alzheimer's. It's a healthy source of cholesterol. It helps reduce the stress on our bodies. As opposed to processed lard, which is hydrogenated with trans fat to improve the stability at room temperature. It's oxidized fat. It causes free radicals that turn into cell damage. And it's treated with bleaching and deodorizing agents, emulsifiers, and preservatives such as BHT, which is butylated hydroxytoluene, something
it's one of those rules. If you can't pronounce it, you shouldn't eat it.
Yeah, exactly. Bad for your body. So please don't use vegetable oils, Crisco oil, any of that kind of stuff. Seek out a farmer in your area and try to get your hands on or even a processor. Try to get your hands on some good lard from a good pasture-raised pig. We all need to use fat in our cooking, and fat is an essential part of our diets. So,
and all the benefits that you get from the lard is also true for the fat that you're eating off of the meat for these pigs. They are just as good for you as well.
Absolutely. You hear stories about what they're doing at meat processing plants nowadays and injecting in chickens and injecting stuff into the meat. No. Find yourself a good local farmer, reach out to them. If you're in the Minnesota area, reach out to us. We would love to sell you some pork. This spring we're going to have lots of pork to sell, and we also are selling our feeders. We're selling breeders in the spring. So if you're interested in any of that, reach out to us. Okay, and then we have a bonus reason of why you should choose this breed, and that is the community support. It's been phenomenal. There's multiple places for support on these pigs if you're new to getting into them. There's an IPP Facebook community that's always available to help with questions, whether it's farrowing a sick pig, what I should feed them, why are they doing this, anything. They're so friendly and quick to answer and help with your support. There's on Facebook alone, there's Idaho Pasture Pigs Breed Association. There's Idaho Pasture Pigs Society, which is run by Kayla. Idaho Pasture Pig Registry, which is run by Jody. And on the registry, their site, she has a website with very clear breed standards and also videos on how you should evaluate your pigs for breed standards.
Yeah, so that's where our pigs are actually registered through, is the Idaho Pasture Pig Registry. Kayla's site, Idaho Pasture Pig Society, is also going to be a registry that you could register through her page as well. Just like any other breed of pig or dog or horse or whatever, there's multiple breeders or registries that you can register your pigs through.
Yeah, so it's just been great, the support, the community feeling we get surrounding these pigs. And so all in all, I just think because their personalities, the meat quality, the support, the support, how great they are on the pastures, it's all of those are the reasons that we chose this breed.
Yeah,
so to wrap it up,
there's been situations that I've had to go to the Facebook groups and ask questions, and they are very quick to answer, and they're very knowledgeable. No judging. Whatever questions you have, they're willing to answer.
Yeah, so as Kevin said, we are a registered breeder. So if you're interested, we're in Minnesota, kind of more of east central Minnesota. I always say northern because I feel like we're way up north here, but
we are north of the cities, so that's
yeah.
kind of what we consider northern Minnesota, anything north of the Twin Cities.
Yeah, we're both from the cities, so that's kind of why I say north. Anyway, we're going to be selling this spring. We're going to be selling, both feeders, breeders. We're going to be selling boxed sets of cuts, even single individual cuts. Yep. We're going to be making a couple trips down into the cities, what I call the cities, St. Paul, Minneapolis.
And wholes too.
Yeah, and you can order halves or whole ahead of time.
Yep, deposits will take.
Put a deposit down on that, and those are filling up. So if you're interested, please reach out to us. And you can also come to our farm here. We love to host people here at our farm. So if you'd like to come and see our farm, meet our pigs, see our setup, talk to us about them, we are more than happy to do that too. You can pick up in the spring, you can pick up meat right here on our farm. So please message us, email us at themorganhomestead.com if you're interested in any of those things, or even if you just want to talk about pigs. We obviously like to do that.
Email us at themorganhomestead@yahoo.com.
Oh, that would be good to get that correct, at yahoo.com. So anyway, we obviously like to talk about pigs. We love our pigs. If you would have said even 5 years ago, Sandy, you're going to be a pig farmer, I would have just laughed you right out of the room because I had no desire to raise pigs. But now that we've gotten to know this breed and we absolutely love it, we're enjoying this way of life. Kevin does all the heavy lifting here on paddocks and setting them up and moving them.
Yeah, the pigs are so easy to move. I mean, the way I have it set up, it's nothing to move these pigs from paddock to paddock.
Yeah, so we would love your support, but more so support your local farmers. You can just reach out and do some searches to find a local farmer in your area that you can maybe purchase some fresh, good, wholesome meat from, or even lard, or reach out to your butchers in your local areas. But most importantly, support your local farmers. And that's it.
All right, so that's it for this episode. Please support us by giving us a thumbs up. Leave some comments down there. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them right in the comments below. So thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.
Bye.